It's the morning DNA for May 2nd, 2022. I'm Aaron Dice, the man of single black shirt. She is Danae Hughes, the woman of a million distractions, and we're here to find out what the morning of May 2nd is made of. What was that
It's May.
sound?
It's May. It's made of May. Sometimes I just go, and that's what happened. So, yeah.
The title of Danae's autobiography. Sometimes I just go
Sometimes I
blur,
do
and
stuff.
that happened. Yeah. All right, I want to start here, just with the human mind and the things that it does, because JCD says, "Don't mind me, I'm shipping plants this AM." And in my mind, because I am so into TV world, my immediate thought is he wants relationships between his plants. Like he is like he's pining over his plants getting together and making baby plants. He's shipping them.
Right.
That's
So the morning involves that he is just sitting in front of like the plant display, just like observing their behavior. The fan starts to go and the leaves start to like wiggle a little bit, and he's thinking that they're getting closer to holding leaf hands.
Yes.
What a morning.
Yes.
What a morning you get to have.
He's just really afraid they're going to leave each other and put down roots somewhere else. Yeah, it's
right.
really sad. It's really sad.
Wow. I'm guessing it actually involves shipping in the mail.
That would be difficult. So, yeah, give it your full attention. Yes, it is Aaron and Demae.
Demae! Oh! Super smart.
Yeah.
Yes, of course I have coffee, Polly. Of course I do. I try to have it every single episode because I try to have it every single morning.
My morning routine often involves doing whatever word puzzle is going on. So like you've done Wordle, right? Like
I do. I think I've done Wordle just unless I get sick or super busy. It's something that's like top of my mind most days is to do Wordle.
So Wordle, and then there's Quordle, right? Which is like 4 Wordle boxes with a few more. Yeah, at once with a few more guesses. So any word you guess on all 4. So you have to kind of be strategic about, where you're guessing and
I think it's like
guessing.
within 8 guesses you have to do all 4 words or something like that. It's a lot. Quordle is a lot for me. I think I've solved 2 so far, but the stress was real on that one. Wordle also stresses me out a little bit, but Quordle really amps up I don't like it.
So you probably don't even want to know about Sedekordle or whatever it's called that I just found out about from
this
a Twitter friend today.
This is a G-rated show? PG-13, actually. So I guess it's okay.
Yeah, so it's I think it's Sedekordle, and it is 16 Wordles at once, and every guess counts for each of them, and you have to get it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 guesses. You have to get all 16 Wordles.
How does that work, though? Because you would think... Oh, gosh. No, thank you.
Go ahead. Think about it, Danae. Bury yourself in Sikadordle.
Just the thought process of Sikadordle. I think that it's interesting. The problem that I have a lot of problems with that, I guess the interface would make a big difference because when you have that many words you're guessing at the same time, you're going to have a lot of letters eliminated. That's part of the beauty for me of Wordle is that the eliminated letters become their own mental game. There's been the last couple of days, there have been a couple of words that the reduction of letters is so confusing. I think I only had 2 guesses to go. The only letter on the board that I had in the right place was O, and everything else was blacked out.
Right.
Everything.
Right. Yeah.
So there's an elimination of S and C and H and and T and R, and they're all gone. I can't use them. And I only have O, and then my remaining letters are like X and Z and W and Q and Y. And it was just like, what is this stinking word? So that's part of the fun of Wordle. But if you're playing where you have, 16 happening at once or something, that overlap of elimination isn't like it totally changes the game. I don't know. It'd be
It's
too much, I
interesting.
think,
You
for
have
my
to get
brain. I don't know that I
strategic.
would like it.
I tried it this morning. You have to get strategic because you don't want to spend time guessing on ones where you need like one letter left and it could be a bunch of different ones, right? Like if it's like the last four letters are, something that could go with a bunch of consonants at the beginning, because you want to go figure out other words first, because then you may reveal that consonant naturally in figuring out the other ones, as opposed to wasting a bunch of guesses on that one. So yeah, it's a lot of scrolling and figuring out and scrolling. And,
Polly says, I did today's and went all the way to round 21 to finish it.
nice job, Holly. Way to get it done.
Okay.
Way to get it
That's
done.
a lot. Great work. There's a question about your starting word, and I think instead of saving that for the Q&A and U section later on, for those of you that might be joining us for the first time, we do three, I guess technically 4 sections on our show. Hang out here, and then we go into my topic, Aaron's topic, and then we answer your questions, and so we can pin them and put them aside for later. But I think we just answer this one because we're right in the middle of the chat.
Sure,
What do you think?
let's do it. Let's talk Wordle. Let's just do a Wordle show. We'll get an hour in, and it'll be like, why are we still talking Wordle?
I'll be with the dogs on the floor at that point.
Ronald says, what's your starting word on Wordle, Aaron? I use irate, and it takes care of 3 vowels and a couple very common consonants. So irate has served me very, very well. IRIATE.
I do whatever word comes into my imagination.
Well, what I discovered is the word that comes into your imagination is the word that magically got you a 2 one time. That's the word.
I
Your brain's
literally
like, oh,
sit
let's start
down
with that.
And I go, what word am I thinking of? And sometimes it doesn't seem to make much sense, but more often than not, my random ether word will reveal a series of letters, and I usually get my guesses in 4, sometimes 5, then 3, then 2. Those are I rarely have to get to the end.
My follow-up word, if there's none of the letters in irate, my follow-up word is lounds, L-O-U-N-S, because then you get the other 2 vowels as well as S, N, and L, which are all very common consonants as well. So if you do irate and lounds, you'll cover most of the most used letters in the English alphabet. In fact, when I play Quordle or Sickadordle, I use irate and lounds as my first 2 guesses just automatically, and then go from there just to cover all those letters. So, yeah.
Everybody weighing in with your starter words. I think those become more important when you play the Quordle and you play the Circle Quordle.
Yeah, the guacamole.
Yeah. For me, at least. Then it becomes more like, because Justin does it to where even if he's got letters guessed in his first spot with his first word, he'll still do a completely different second word to just figure out how many letters he can have in play for number 3.
Yeah.
A question from Breezy Lady B is, will this be like the classic Candy Crush Saga radio episode? Holy flashback. Let's go back to a fun day on the radio and talk about this. So we're on air live. We did live radio for a number of years together. It was the quintessential. It was the what's the word I'm looking for? It's what you think of in movies where you've got 2 people that are having a heck of a good time and the phones are lighting up and people are calling in and coming and bringing food because they're having such a good time. It was like super, super fun. Live radio
Is that the word
days.
you were looking for?
What is it?
Prototypical?
Yeah, prototypical. Absolutely. It's what you would expect. And at the height of Candy Crush, which I think had really started to gain popularity with Facebook at the time. So our audience, large in part, were being inundated with Candy Crush ads on Facebook, and Candy Crush had taken over specifically Aaron's life because Aaron has an addiction problem.
Yeah, Aaron. Yeah, Aaron is. Aaron has to conquer things and consume them. It is not my best quality in some ways, but in other ways it can help. In other ways it can make me good at what I do. But yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it became something where Aaron, his efficiency brain, his figure this out brain or whatever, he jumped right into it and started just crushing Candy Crush. And so one morning we're talking about the addiction to the game, and we spun it into a hotline for people calling in to just express their feelings about the game and their frustrations and their concerns.
Didn't we make them start with, my name is such and such, and I'm a Candy Crush addict?
Yes, and it was so funny.
Yeah.
And people just called in, and we would talk about their problems. And it was really funny because, Aaron would be like the counselor, and he'd say, okay, so what you got to do is when you get the stripey next to the stripey, you got to combine them for a bonbon. It was just the funniest thing. And people were just loving it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Were lighting up. It was a lot of fun.
So yeah, this is essentially the rebirth of that, the Wordle hotline. More starter words I'm just going to throw up on the screen for the podcast listeners. They're like fount and shock and ocean.
Nice.
We've seen, aired and level.
There's one okay, so there's this thing that the New York Times does now that they own Wordle, where they have like the Wordle bot, and the Wordle bot supposedly will tell you after you've played like what the best possible words you could use in any situation and their goal is to eliminate the most possibilities. So in other words, the word that will get you down to the fewest possibilities of correct answers. And apparently the best starting word, or one of a handful of best starting words, but the one that WordleBot likes, is crane, C-R-A-N-E. And I think that has to do not only with the letters and the common letters, but also the placement of those letters, which is something I don't think about when I do it. So
I haven't done today's Wordle yet. So
you want to do it live? I haven't either. So
okay. Welcome to the most boring part of the show.
No. This is great. This is what people do on Twitch all the time, right? They play games and they talk while they're playing games. This is we're twitching right now.
Okay, so my starting letter I'm feeling is thorn.
Okay.
For those of you, listen, I'm going to show my screen, and this is why I follow my instincts. Breezy Lady B, thank you for that read sub. Let's just show everybody. Aaron, don't look.
Oh, sorry.
I guess I told you.
I didn't see. It was out of focus when I looked.
So.
All right, and then I will show mine with Danae not looking. Mm-hmm. So this is what my first word gets me. So there's that. Okay. So then what is your thought process after that? You just kind of think, oh, what's another word, or?
No. So then it's like, okay, here's the letter. What makes sense to go next? And depending on how many letters I have will determine what that means. So like for me, I have a very interesting situation.
So for me, I think of what letters are missing, what are the most common letters I haven't guessed yet, and is there a word that will combine those kind of things? So like I can do this. So I will explain this to people, or do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll just. So I went with this. I went with my next word.
I'm not looking.
Okay.
All right. So I haven't selected my. Oh, let me hit enter. All right. So this is the word I went with second. It got some other common letters and got a couple more vowels out of the way, and also still included the two letters that I knew were in there somewhere. So then what do you do?
Well, depending on if I've guessed placement correctly, I just keep trying to find like words that make sense. So in this case, I had two letters in the right spot right out of the gate. One needed to be moved. So I moved that letter that needed to be moved, and I still need to move it. So then I just find the next logical spot for it to go and then build a word around it.
Yeah. And that's what I do, and I just won in 3. All right, let's go.
Let's go. Woo! Good job, Aaron. You win.
So do you want to
I might get it in 3, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's okay. We can.
Well, I want to show. So do you want to not look, or do you want to figure it out?
I won't look.
Okay. So there you go. So for me, it was, thinking where could those other letters go? How can you spell a word with only that vowel? Like all that kind of stuff. So yeah, there you go.
And I also got it in 3.
Yes, you did. Oh, wait. No, you didn't. You got close.
No, I didn't. Dang it. Well, I'm really close.
That is frustrating when the first 4 come up green.
I wanted to move on so quickly.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
See how my first word is so crazy? Look at that.
Yeah.
It's really exciting. It should be a segment, says Ronald on
the Monday Wordle.
On you know what, we could, but the problem is if it gets really hairy. And the other thing, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is gut level honesty. It's hard to lose to Aaron all the time.
Aw, Danae.
It is. It's like, I mean, cool. Great job, Aaron. And then me just being like, I don't like this. I thought I had it in 3, but I don't. Let's do storm. Let's see if it's storm. Nope. Let's do Storgoflummen.
Storgoflummen. You got it.
Let's do story. There we
Ding,
go.
ding, 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 ding. Very nicely done.
So, yeah.
It's a fun little game. You know, like somebody just invents something and then it's just like, that's a fun little thing to do every morning and figure it out. So, and then somebody pays you $2 million or whatever for it.
Yeah, it was a lot.
It's like, I want to invent a little word game that gets me paid a bunch of money. It's amazing.
According to someone, the best starter word is SOARE.
I mean, if you say so.
I don't know. I think the placement of letters is really valuable for me. I'd rather try to like, because then my brain can sort of like put it into sequence and then make like, you know, moving the T to the end for ort, because that makes sense. And then realizing that the T's in the wrong place. So now you know it's TOR.
It's exactly. Yeah, you know it's TOR.
You know, then you start to create those words. I like this game. When you add in the extra ones, it gets a little bit much for me. But anyhow, thanks guys for sharing your words with us. I think if we wanted to all do Wordle together on Mondays or do like a crossword puzzle on Mondays or something, that would be kind of fun. There's actually a way to link a Twitch account to one of those word guessing games where the chat jumps in and everybody who types in the chat is also guessing all of the word possibilities. It'd be really kind of fun to, I think, do something like that as a group. And maybe we can start, if you guys want to do games together, that would be kind of a fun thing that we can do.
Breezy says, which Wordle is this? There are so many choices. There's only one Wordle, Breezy.
New York Times.
New York Times.
It's the New York Times Wordle.
They paid $2 million for it. So that's.
So you'll see up here, I'm just using the browser. I'm not using the app.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Be why mine is
yeah. See, that was a mistake I made early on when people were talking about Wordle a bunch. I thought it was an app. And I was like, I don't even have access to this app. And it's like, no, you just go play it in your browser. I was like, oh,
yeah.
I see.
There are a lot of clones out there. That's true. The other thing is if you make a New York Times account and you link it, then you can do the bot thing that Aaron was talking about. And that's really interesting analytically, where it'll tell you like how you did compared to everyone else. So the mathematical algorithm of letters and possibilities, it tells you how close you were with each of your guesses, and it gives you some suggestions and things like that. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So yes, Aaron and I love playing video games together. We've always in fact, we're on a kick right now for Spider Solitaire. So we're doing Spider Solitaire together. So yeah, we're games and community is one of my. I just love playing games as a group. We also are playing Sagrada, which is a paid app, I believe, but Sagrada is a really fun one too that we've played. We play BeatStar as another one that the community plays. So if you guys are looking and you haven't found a gaming community, you can join the Discord. It's our work Discord for CinemaSins, and there's a whole group of people in there that love to play games and such. So you're always welcome. And then there's other like communities like Moco Made. They have a really good gaming community as well.
Aren't Discord websites GG? Isn't it like cinemasins.gg or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Is the link for the work Discord. So yeah, there you go.
Isn't the point of solitaire games that you play them alone? Says it don't connect. Yes. However, we always find ways to try to loop each other in on that.
Do a tear. We do a tear.
Yeah, we actually have had up to 5 adults competing at one time because this particular app does daily challenges. So we'll all start the daily challenge at the same time and see who finishes first or who has the higher score because we're competitive solitaire players.
I've joined a competitive solitaire league.
Oh no, Chris Backinson joining chat saying, I'm still upset that I lost my BeatStar account.
Oh no.
The wound runs deep. Have you thought about reaching out to them or something?
Yeah, that's wild.
Man, maybe reach out to the developers. They could help. The reason I say that is because my mother recently restarted an app that she had once before, and she was in their Discord. Different game, of course. But she was in the Discord for the game, and she was talking about how she had an old account, and they actually went back and found it and linked it together. So,
Oh, nice.
Still want to get Aaron into D&D? Yeah.
I'm getting more and more excited to play. There's something.
It's going to happen.
There's something performance based in there that I'm starting to attach to, that I'm really excited about playing a character, because I like acting. Like, I was an actor in high school, even in college a little
You're
bit.
gonna love it.
And
It's going to be so fun.
yeah, it's gonna be.
Polly says we need a live BeatStar demo from Aaron on an extreme song. He would love to do that.
I need to figure out how to get my phone up on the screen. Like that, there's got to be a way to do
cast
that,
it?
right? Yeah.
Probably. I would maybe just an over the head camera shot.
Yeah.
Like move your camera to face down and then just go.
That would be the easy way.
Or
right?
or get two cameras, one for your face so they can see your concentration face. And
that is part of the fun in watching me play BeatStar, is just looking.
he's like, I have actually recorded Ian and Aaron playing the same exact song at the same exact time. And then
We accidentally called that something very inappropriate, and that is now what it's been.
But that's not abnormal for you two.
No.
As you do your word exploration, you run across one, you're like, oops, maybe
See,
not
the
that
word
one.
beat is involved,
Yeah, it
play
was a lot.
off kind of thing. Yep, you got it. Okay.
And watching the two of them compete was really fun. But then I showed them the video, and I wish I would have videoed them watching the video of themselves playing.
It was
because
hilarious.
they were cracking up at specific parts, like things I would have never known. But I guess like they hit the thing at the same time, and their head is nodding at the same time, and they were thoroughly entertained by the competition.
It was like synchronized beat starring. It was amazing. It was amazing. Yeah. Fun stuff. Well, you want to shoot a doe?
Chris sucks. Oh yeah, I'm just reading that Chris has already kind of done what could be done.
Oof. Trauma.
How far away are we from the goal of the D&D? It's a little ways. There's an ebb and flow to support, and
You want me to
so
check? I can check.
I think we wanted 41 people maybe giving.
Yeah,
and
41,
we're at like 7.
Team DNA members. 41 Team DNA members at Patreon. That's patreon.com/Studio DNA, and we will do a live D&D with Danae and I and some other people.
His first time playing.
Yeah.
Although we might do like a prep show. We might do a prep show.
It is, we're about 20 people away. 19 people away.
Yeah,
So
a little bit of a goal.
Yep.
I'm ready to start whenever you are.
All right. Let us shoe a doe. This is how we do it. We do the DNA and you. Danae talked about it a little bit already, but there's a D topic. That's Danae. There's an A topic. That's me. And there's as many U topics as we can get to. Feel free to ask us anything going on in the news that you want us to talk about, anything you're interested in our opinions on, any real life situations you want us to solve for you.
Do you want to know about natural deodorant? Do you want our opinions on that?
Those go in the U section, and you can put those in anytime. If you want to make sure we see them, put a little U at the beginning so that we spot them and save them for the U question section. But we'll kick it off with Danae as we do. What is the D topic for this Monday?
Well, as you guys know, my little one turned 5, and we were in Florida for her actual birthday, and we celebrated at Disney, which is really, really fun. But this year is the first year we've been able to put together an actual little party for her because pandemic obviously changed that. So when she turned 2 or 3, when she turned 3, we had only my mom and dad over. That was it. Just a small little pot of people, and we even were worried about that because of pandemic. So it was very quiet. When she turned 4, we had just the people that were in our bubble over. So at that point, we had seen X amount of folks, and so it was like mom and dad and grandmama and Aaron and Jen. So it was like a very adult party for the little one. Again, she didn't care. It was just, fun cake and stuff.
Yeah.
She's a happy girl. And then this year was the first time though that we felt like, you know what, she's going to childcare every day. We can invite some of her childcare friends and some people that she sees regularly, like her grandma and grandpa and her extended friendship. So we decided to put together like a little bit of a party, and it was 3 of her friends that came over, so really small, but it's the first time that she's had kids come to the house. She's seen her cousin before. Her 2 cousins have come over, but she's never, ever, ever, ever had a friend come over like for a party before.
Do you remember how exciting that was
cool.
when you were a kid? Like
Oh my
to have your
God.
like school friend be in your house. Like
It's like you exist in my world too.
yeah, it's crazy.
There have been like little ones that have come over with their I think we had one little girl come over with their dad once, but it wasn't really for a play date type of a situation. Anyway, it was just a really special moment to see that she had invited some close people over, and watching her get to interact and run around and play with her toys and kind of prepping for all of that, plus the birthday party, and making it a chillax, laid back environment for everyone. So it wasn't a high pressure party. It was really, really, really cool. And I wonder what's going to stand out to her in time. Like for me, I don't remember my 5th birthday party. I just remember my mom showing pictures and these little kids. And like, I see that I was in front of this cake, but I don't remember anything stand out. So I don't know if Iris is going to have like a standout memory from this party. It's going to be more me. And that's why I really appreciate the people that were there taking pictures, because I did not take any pictures or video or anything. So I just have these really cool like shots of her running around with her friends and things. And I think that's going to be something that stands out for me. But I was kind of curious. That's my huge, gigantic, long lead in. And you guys can answer this question multiple times, multiple ways. But like, do you guys remember your youth birthday parties? Like, what is that like for you? I remember my, 18 and like my 16 and my 13. I remember my 13th party. My mom threw amazing birthday parties for me as I was growing up, and those were really, really fun. But like my younger ones, I don't have a standout at all. So anyway, my question is just about standout favorite birthday memories for you from any age, and why it stood out to you as we kind of think about when we celebrate something once a year, what actually stands out to us.
Polly says, my 21st birthday was spent at a NASCAR race in Phoenix. It's where I bought my first beer after turning 21.
That's fun. See, those like excursion birthdays when you get older, those are delightful because you're like able to go, I really enjoyed this. Yeah. Let's go. That sounds really fun. For Medina says, my earliest birthday party memory is at 10.
So this is interesting. My memories of my childhood, I get really mixed up about them because I feel like everything I remember from my childhood is because I've seen video.
Yeah, it's strange, right?
It's so weird. There will be videos I'll watch of me as a child and I go, oh yeah, I remember that. And I'm like, do you though? Do you really remember that? Or have you heard stories about it and you've internalized it? And so I get a little mixed up. I remember bits and pieces of what I think are birthdays. We had a deck out back, it was about 10 feet off the ground, and my friends and I thought it was the coolest thing to jump off that deck into our yard. Like that was our risk kind of thing. Like we'll jump 10 feet and survive it, and that kind of stuff, or climb a tree. I kind of remember that stuff, but I don't know if that was actually a birthday. So yeah, it's really interesting for me.
It is also strange.
Special days haven't necessarily been like they don't mean as much to me as they mean to some people, right? Because I like every day to be special. That's just kind of my pie in the sky optimism coming through. It's just like every day is an amazing day and a day to celebrate each other, buy somebody a gift or whatever.
Like it's nice to be celebrated. For me, my standout one, I'm going to probably mention, I think it was my 13th birthday, but my mom had like this whole weekend planned and I had a whole bunch of friends come over and we got to do a big sleepover and big cake. And I think we went to the mall and she had done a scavenger hunt where she'd already gone around to different stores and told them that kids were going to be coming in for clues. And she built this whole like page of clues. We had to run around and figure out puzzles, and whatever group got back to her by the end got a prize. I think everybody actually ended up getting a prize, but she was so creative with this. And like, there was like this big reveal. She had blacked out all of the windows so that like during my birthday, I wouldn't see into the room how it was decorated and stuff. And she really made it special. And I might be merging multiple birthday memories into one, but that was a really fun experience because it just made me feel really special. But that was like when I was 12 years old going into 13, and it was like from a kid to a teenager. So it was like a big deal. And I don't remember almost any other birthday.
Me either.
But like that one big standout. It is so weird. It's just we make a big deal of it.
Things.
Yeah.
And as a kid, you just don't really remember it.
Which is like a relief, honestly, as a parent. It's like, I just want to have a good day. Like, I want her to have fun today. I want my friends to be able to have a good time and have something for them to eat. And that's it. I don't need to try to make a big deal. I just want to make it a good day.
Yeah. Just have an awesome day. Medina follows up. It was my first birthday. I didn't have to share it with my sibling. He was 10 days younger than me. That is such a hard situation, right? Where it's like, your
you don't
birthday's
get your
happening,
day.
and then 10 days later, their birthday is happening. And so, like, as a parent, let's say, right? Like, how do you handle? Because one way, if you have your own, then theirs feels maybe a little less because just 10 days ago you had your big thing. Or do you do them together? Do you do Christmas and birthdays together when birthdays are around Christmas? Like, all that stuff is always kind of like, I'm very thankful our kids were spread out, not near any major holidays. We just kind of we had our year.
I think it's important to feel celebrated, like to be excited about, like whether it's a birthday. Because the other thing is, anytime you get into a celebratory thing, whether it's a Christmas season or birthday season, there's potentially really hard memories tied to that because maybe you didn't have somebody that was going to celebrate you. And so, like, I was watching Iris, where she's got a table with 3 of her buddies, her mom and her dad, closest friends and family, and then a couple of people that came with their kid, with their little kiddo. And we're all singing to her, and she's looking at her cake that she wanted. She wanted a chocolate cake with chocolate frosting, and she decorated it, and she put the big 5 candle in there. And so it was just a really simple cake that was home baked. And she's just looking up at everybody and hearing us sing to her. And she'd look back down, and she had this like little smile on her face. I'm just like, I hope that she feels seen and celebrated, and that's all. And it's not something that we get all the time, to have people like love on you. Of course, for her, it was all about the presents. She did mention something. She was like, so and so came and they didn't bring me a present. And I was like, well, her coming was the gift. Like,
I still have not given her her birthday present.
I wondered about that.
We had it over Florida.
I wondered.
Had it at the part. Like, here's the thing. I will tell you why. I am so nervous about this because it's not a toy. She's not going to like it. She may never appreciate it, but if she does, it'll probably be 10 years from now. Like, it's a little like keepsake box. It doesn't do anything special. It doesn't play a song, but it has her, a painting that's called Irises on it and has her name inside it. And it was purchased at the Getty Museum in Los Angeles, where that painting, where Van Gogh's painting is. So yeah, it's just kind of one of those special sentimental things. She's not going to get it, and I'm going to feel terrible. And if she's opening it at the same time as like bubbles and gardening supplies and stuffed animals, it's like, what is this? I don't know. I'm just really nervous about it.
It's like the value of it is lost a bit. Like, you'll know the right time to give it to her, and watch you keep it until she's 21 and be like, okay, I've been trying to give this to you for so long.
We'll do it soon. I will have a conversation with her. She doesn't mind having conversations where I will just tell her that this may be special down the road. It's something you can keep small toys in if you want to, or you can, let your mom keep it for a while or whatever. But we'll have a conversation. It didn't feel right at either of those points. So yeah, it was one of those interesting things.
Let's see. Okay. Castrif says, my birthday is the day after Christmas. The Christmas before my 7th birthday, we had friends over for a party at my old house in New York, and we all got snowed in. So I had to sleep over in the living room, fell asleep watching a movie, and that was peak for me. That's fun. I love that.
Yeah.
Doc says, I mostly remember my mom's cakes. She made stuff I liked at the time as a cake. So I got a Pikachu cake, and my friend got a Predator from the Alien cake. Yeah, that's also something I remember more, is getting to choose the dessert was a big deal, right? Mm-hmm. So like a cookie cake, those were big. There's like a cookie store in the mall or something that makes like the big cookie cakes. And I remember my brother loved getting those. That was
always our tradition too. Our boys were allowed to pick the type of cake they wanted and the type of ice cream they wanted, and they got to choose the first piece.
There you go.
As the birthday. So
that's smart. I like that.
Yep.
Mumble Me says, when your birthday is 5 days after Christmas and you live in a place where everybody except you skis, you don't get to have a birthday party because nobody will be in town for it. But I had a lot of carnival parties for your name day. My name day, writing and listening is hard. Your name day. Okay, good. That's fun. to do something outside of, like try to figure out a time to celebrate. The coordination of people coming is a big deal. That does play a factor into it.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. There was one I found interesting. This is probably a cultural thing for me. But Ronald says birthday parties in Latin America are usually just excuses for the adults to get drunk. I remember most parties had more beer bottles than Capri Suns. And that was not my experience here in America. But I wonder if it is even in America, somewhat of some people's experiences. I just was not in an alcohol drinking family. So,
well, part of it too, though, is like adults are going to get together. Let's make sure that they have time to talk to.
It does remind me of our vacations that we do with our friends, where our kids are like, "Oh, thank you so much for letting us come play with our friends for a week." And we're like, we're here to hang out with our friends. You getting to hang out with your friends is just a little added bonus. Like that's, but yeah, keeping both in mind sometime.
There's a suggestion for you with Iris coming from the grandmother who says, "Put a miniature toy inside the gift and she will love it." And Polly adds, "My girls love boxes. It's a place to put their small special things." So maybe like a little small special thing in there from you.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Is my turtle still around? I could put my turtle in there. Did that get broken?
It's still around. However, she might not be surprised by its existence since she's already owns it.
No, it's just as an example of something to put in there, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Yep. Super nervous about it. We'll see how it goes. Let's see. Nice.
Well,
ready to move on to the A topic?
Yes. Apologies. I had to type something really quickly. Yeah, I'm ready if you are.
All right. We can do it. The A topic. What's the most recent way you've shown your individuality? This is not something everyone is concerned with. In fact, a lot of us are concerned with conforming, concerned with not standing out. From the time I was a child, I was always wanting to stand out. I was always wanting to be, this is me. This is what makes me different. This is what makes me special. This is who I am. And I think there's a little bit of that in all of us. I would, for instance, growing up, I would shave the bottom of my hair, and then I would shave like important things into the hair, like leave like hair, like a cross or, whatever. In my hair, or the name of somebody.
Yourself. You did this yourself.
No. I had my barber do it. But just stuff like that has always been a part of kind of
important things like my life insurance policy code.
So the latest thing I have done, and you may have observed it, but I've started painting one of my nails, or having them painted. I've actually gone twice to get a manicure. Really enjoyed it. There's something really interesting about the individuality of this one because it's something so gender rolled typically in our culture. And I really like the idea of being a part of removing that from any kind of gendering stereotype, that kind of thing. So it's been one of those things where I paint my pinky nail on my right hand and my ring finger on my left hand. Pinky finger symbol is a symbol for life, and the ring finger symbol for love. So just emphasizing life and love, and also it's the fourth finger and the first finger, so 41 also in there as well, which is a nice little fun thing that I do in my life. So it's just I was just thinking in the recent way that I've kind of embraced my individuality, and I was just curious, what is an example of something recently that you guys have done?
Okay, so you asked me this question earlier, and I immediately misunderstood it, because I was like, yeah, I show my individuality by locking myself into the bathroom so that I can go to the bathroom in peace. And that's
independence.
You were like, that's independence. That's different. I was like, oh, that's right, individuality. That's different. And I genuinely cannot think of anything. Like I was super struggling, and then it just popped into my head that I put a bumper sticker on my car finally, and I felt like that was a big deal. Like that was a huge deal for me because usually I'm like, no bumper stickers.
But it has to be the type of bumper sticker, because a lot of people put bumper stickers on their car.
Right. But this one shows like my love of the Mighty Nine from Critical Role, because it's a Critical Role like Dungeons and Dragons group called the Mighty Nine. and I have a sticker and it looks super cool. It looks like really metal almost. Like it should be like a death metal band sticker, but it's like super D&D. And I remember when I put it on my car last year, I could only think of something a year ago that shows my individuality, because I'm struggling. I don't
Here's
know.
why here's why I think you're struggling. Because you do this every day. Like, this is just part of you is being an individual, right? Like, part of you is, I mean, look at the room around you. How many people would have the same things that you have in what they mean, in what they mean to you, and what they,
this donut that is taunting me, by the way.
You had time to eat it before the show. You had time. We even started early.
I mean, maybe that's true, but I feel like when you show individuality, it's showing to other people. I guess like you guys get to see, those who are able to watch the Morning DNA on Twitch, you guys get to see my space. And yeah, there's a lot of individuality here. There's a lot of things that represent who I am and what I'm about. But when I think about like, this is a big deal. Like, this is me expressing my individuality and it feels big. Yeah. For whatever reason, bumper sticker was a big one for me, because I bumper stuck my car.
Doc says a guy painting his nails makes my heart flutter a bit. Oh, Doc, that's so sweet. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. Let's see. Michael says, I like showing my individuality by slipping a hood into anything I'm wearing. A hoodie with a fleece, a hood with a suit. It doesn't always work, but I love hoods and hoodies. Ooh. That is a fun one.
That's like style individuality.
Yeah, you can put a hoodie under a suit coat, and it can really work. Like, that's a fun one. I like that one a lot.
I like that one a lot, too. I got some style. Yeah. That's like an Instagram account. Super cool.
Yes. Your mom chimes in. Danae is a strong individual. Showing individuality for her is like breathing.
I guess so. Yeah, but I think stickers is a big one, because those feel more. It's not permanent. I could take it off, but like.
But isn't there something? There's got to be something you can think of. Here's the thing. Here, let's put it like this. Something you can think of that you're like, yeah, I'm kind of one of, only a few people that really do this, but it's special to me, or it's important to me, or, it's just something that's part of my life. Maybe just breaking out into song in the middle of sentences.
But that doesn't feel abnormal. This one's from Slenderman. Hi, good morning, Slenda. I'm coloring my beard purple this week, starting today.
Let's go.
Okay.
Purple beard, let's do it.
Let's go, Mama Breezy. Listen, I have questions that probably shouldn't happen right now, but I don't know when they're going to happen, so I'm just going to throw them out. Are you bleaching your beard and then dyeing it purple? Because you have dark, you have dark hair.
Show up? Yeah.
And how does a beard absorb color if it's not like porous and ready?
This is fair.
I don't know. So are you bleaching it first? Are you doing this on your Moco show? Or is this like private in a bathroom where things can fail? Are you video recording this so that you can show it to your fans on Discord, at the very least, potentially uploading it to Twitch? Like I said, I have questions.
We want to know all of the answers.
Hey, it's good to see you. Welcome to the Morning DNA, those who are just coming in. We can't be individuals, says Slab. We are Borg. We are Borg.
We are more Borg than we think. It's so funny because in part of this question does come from really making us think about what it means to be an individual. Community is beautiful, by the way. There's nothing wrong with community, sharing things together, doing things together, all that kind of stuff. But there is also something really really beautiful about recognizing what makes someone special, what makes them unique, what makes them interesting. And I just find it really fun to think about in your own life, what are those individuality things that you embrace? Because so many people will say things like, I want to be, I want to be unique, just like everybody else, like uniqueness becomes its own form of conformity in some ways. But yeah.
I feel like an easy one for me will be when I get another tattoo. Stuff like that, when you're like adding your own flair and flavor.
Tattoos that is a great example of, body art of any kind is a great example of that kind of idea.
Derek says, no, I'm not bleaching. Okay, that's fine. Although that would have been fun to watch. you would have ended up on some YouTube channel,
It burns.
right? Like the guy that's on Mondo X on YouTube who reviews people doing things to their hair. No, I'm not bleaching. I'm using product because I'm planning on shaving it after the week. Purple for partner celebration all week on stream. Congratulations again, you guys. They made partner on Twitch. So for those of you that don't know, there's like all these metrics that they have to hit, with viewership being consistently over 75 and then all of these other things. And then you have to be evaluated by Twitch and they have to agree to give you partner level. So they are celebrating that. Congratulations.
Nice.
Bleaching was too much work. Okay. All right. You do have a sister that would absolutely just do the best bleach job. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Her painting your face.
Be fun.
It'd be fun. No. You go with your plan. I'm not saying you change your plan, but I'm saying change your plan. No, I'm not. I'm not actually saying that.
I am. Change your plan. Polly says, "You nonconformists are all alike" was a pin I used to have on my hat. That is very, very funny. I like that. Slindemon says, "Devin does not want to touch my beard."
Really? I find that shocking.
I mean,
I would think that that'd be fun.
Danae's daughter likes sucking on beards. Like, that is,
Why? Why does she do this?
Children, how do they work?
You guys are the best. Let's go on to some you questions.
Yeah,
this is
let's
the part
do
of the show where you guys can ask us any question that you would like. So anything goes. We don't have to answer anything, but you can ask anything. This could be about stuff going on in your life. I love answering advice questions. Those are some of my favorites. But you can kind of ask about just about anything. I do want to point out that there's a new addition in my house. This little dog in the background was a gift from the Slab Babies when I got to see them in person at Sin Week. And so it lives here right now. And my daughter did absolutely try to take it. That definitely happened.
Definitely.
But it's a new addition. Okay, I'm just gonna listen.
Lucas says, "Any recommendations for books to read? Should I read the Game of Thrones books?" Sure, go ahead. I actually read a little bit of the first one. Did not catch me. I was like, I'll just do the TV shows. And Danae has disappeared.
I'll be right there. I'm getting a book.
I actually don't read a ton, but I actually had someone pass on a recommendation to me. And by the way, when I say read, I mean listen to. Audiobooks is my preferred way of reading. I find I can focus better and actually, handle the material better with an audiobook. But I am currently finishing up a book called Creativity, Inc. From Ed Catmull, who helped found Pixar. It touches that Pixar place that I love, where kind of stories about the movies and that kind of stuff. And then also some really interesting stuff about what it takes to run a creative company. Stuff you just wouldn't think about in some really interesting things. So I'm really enjoying it. That's Creativity, Inc. Is what I'm reading right now. And of course, just read When the Corn is Waist High, which you can see in the background, which is also a lot of fun. So, yeah.
I was going to recommend, if you want like a murder thriller, this is a book that was written by our friend Jeremy Scott, and it just released. And I think it's like $17 for the paperback on Amazon, and you can get that shipped right now. One of my favorite high fantasy series is a series called the Fionavar Tapestry by Gavriel, Kaye. I've purchased and given away this book about 4 times in my lifespan so far. So this was a replacement book that I got. There was actually like one that I got at one point in time that had like my favorite cover, and I have no idea what happened to it. So I think I'm going to have to like go back and like actually go onto some used bookstores online and just spend some money and get this series again. This is a big, thick read. And what I mean by that is Guy's way of writing is very descriptive and just really juicy. So it reminds me a bit of Tolkien, maybe. I've actually, my mom has read this one also, and it takes you places. It deals with some pretty deep topics. There's some trauma that happens in it that's just kind of part of the storyline. But it is very, very juicy. It's like a lot happens. And it's the kind of book that when you open it up, you have a list of characters. and where they come from, so that you have a guide sort of as you go to reference back to. So again, that's Guy Gavriel Kaye. The Summer Tree is the first book, and it's a really good series.
Yeah.
I like when I read something and I'm like, holy crap, that is the most interesting way to describe that. Because, sometimes you'll read it and it's just, the man walked across the room. But when an author understands how to give more context to someone just walking from point A to point B with just a few words, my imagination was really, really activated with this series. So I really appreciate it when I can see a lot just based on how they write.
Yeah. Polly says, hey, Game of Thrones is good, far deeper than the show. Yes, of course. I mean, that's always the beauty of actually reading the source material, is it is often much more in-depth and cohesive even than the entertainment stuff that comes out around it. So, yeah.
There's a lot of really good books, and there's lots of them popping up in the chat as well. So read through the chat. I think most of them are on Twitch. There's a couple that popped up from other sources. So we'll do this one real quick from Polly.
The Cryptonomicon by Neil Stevenson was mentioned. The Gun Seller by Hugh Laurie. Very sarcastic, dry humor, and a fun plot. I like Hugh Laurie, so that's an interesting recommendation. Recent one for me, Don't Tell Mum I Work on the Rigs. She thinks I'm a piano player in a whorehouse. That is quite the title.
That reminds me of the title, A Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime was the title of a book that I read once, and it was really fascinating.
Michael says some good reads I like fantasy are Raybearer, Blood Like Magic in the Broken Earth series. So some fantasy suggestions there.
Thanks, Michael.
And Slenderman mentions Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance.
Man.
So, yeah.
We got some good books. Great question.
Yep. All right. Let's see. Go with JCD next. You question, what do you do when you realize you're starting to overthink on things? This can be work, relationships, or anything you can think of where overthinking can interfere. Oh, let me tell you about my brain.
Let's take a few minutes and establish a baseline.
Man, overthinking is an interesting concept. I think what people mean when they say it, myself included, is when you start getting jumbled in your thoughts because you're trying to think of so many possible variants, things that might happen, and then you're paralyzed because you don't know which of those to follow, which of those to really try to understand. That is, I think, what we mean when we say overthinking. When I start to realize that I'm doing that, I try to focus in on the now, because I am a planner. I'm a future thinker. I am someone who likes to think about 5-10 years down the road, all the possibilities. So for me, when I'm overthinking, whether it be a relationship or whatever, I focus on what is in front of me in this moment, what decision needs to be made in this moment, and how am I feeling in this moment? And let's address those things internally so that I can kind of calm the whatever seas of so many things, right? But because I'm a planner and a long-term thinker, I'm always overthinking everything. I'm always thinking of all the permutations, all the possibilities that I can ponder. So yeah, this is a big one for me. But I think there's a way to do it in a more calm way, in a less manic way. And that's, that just takes practice and thoughtfulness, breathing. Breathing helps a lot, by the way. Breathing exercises are real.
Breathing exercises are what gets you through like childbirth. Sometimes it's crazy how much that can calm the system of the body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What Aaron said, and also perspective. And if you don't have if you don't have time on your side where you've had a lot of experiences that you're pulling from, like age as you get older, there's things that just don't take up as much brain space because you've experienced enough that you kind of like, okay, I can handle this. Then perspective from other people, figuring out who gives good advice and then trusting kind of that you can let some stuff go based on their experiences. So For example, when my child stopped eating food variety and just decided that all she wants is burgers and french fries, I'm not panicking yet because every parent has told me that this is like kids go through a cycle of just not wanting to eat. They want to eat one thing and they're going to survive. The good thing is that they're eating. So my overthinking brain isn't panicking because every single person has said this is something that's normal, and it kind of helps my brain to relax. But the other part of it too is just kind of trusting, the process. And what I mean by that is whatever happens in the scenarios that you're thinking about, there comes a point when you have to kind of get to, I have to trust that whatever happens, I am somehow capable of managing it. And I can't plan enough to prevent enough. I just have to trust that whatever happens, I can manage it. I think it's good to be prepared, I think, and it's good to think ahead, and it's good to let your mind go places. But if you get stuck a lot in the overthinking of things, I think it's because maybe we just don't trust ourselves to be able to manage it. Worst case scenario is a game I play all the time, right? Like, what's worst case scenario? So that I can kind of go into that place and sort of mentally prepare. And when I'm there, I'm like, man, I have people I can call for help. I have my own experience to lean on, and I know I'm going to do my best. And that's the standard that I have for myself. Like, the bar is as low as it can be so that I'm not, at the end of the day going like, God, I didn't hit my goals. I didn't do this. I didn't do this. Because my brain's just not wired that way. So perspective, I think perspective is a really good thing to try to go for to help with overthinking, whether it's your own perspective or somebody else's.
JCD follows up, says, I can say when it comes to overthinking, I do it a lot when it comes to interacting with you all on the Sins team. Like both Sins week I attended, I wondered if I had annoyed you, specifically Aaron. I hope I didn't do anything to indicate that. But what I will say about that is the type of overthinking you're talking about specifically really is worrying, right? Like it's this idea of borrowing trauma. That is what worry is. It's borrowing trauma. It's this idea of what if this painful thing is true, I'm going to feel that now, even though it may or may not be true. And worry is one of those things that is, it's a very human thing, but the more coping mechanisms you can have with the idea of not borrowing trauma for something that may or may not exist, the better you're going to be able to flow through life. There's no sense borrowing tomorrow's problems. Like, it's just, deal with what's in front of you. If you want to know, if you're being annoying, you can always just ask, and I will tell you, no, I am not annoyed. But yeah, we do that. We tend to worry about how we're being perceived, what people are thinking about us, and that's borrowing trauma that may or may not exist. So yeah, you just trust the people around you to be honest with you. So yeah.
Yep. And it's okay that, maybe you're not everybody's slice, right? Like, I have that happen a lot where I'm a lot and I am a lot for people. I have a lot of energy, and I can feel like sometimes I'll put people off, especially when I, meet new people and I'm just like, I've got a lot of excitement, and I can feel them kind of like backing away. And then the thing goes in my brain where it's just like, oh no, they don't like me. But I mean, you can't control how people react to you. You can only control yourself. So.
Very good. Let's see. Polly says, would Aaron dye his hair a non-traditional color? Yes. I mean, that's easy. Of course. I am very excited about how my hair is graying. I want it to gray faster. I would love to have like totally silver hair. So for me, the whiter my hair gets, the more interesting dyeing it becomes, because you can really play with the colors, like Danae said, on like a bleached hair or a white hair. But the thing for me, honestly, is practicality. It's cost, it's upkeep, it's that kind of stuff. So those are the things I look at as far as it would probably be a one-time thing, and I'd do it for, a month and then let it grow out or whatever. But yeah, certainly there would be instances where I would absolutely do something like that. I love that kind of stuff. I absolutely love that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
It's fun, but then you have to maintain it. That's
correct. And you have to pay for it. You have to figure out who's doing it and how much it costs and all that stuff.
Unless you do it yourself, and then you're still maintaining it, and then you're doing it yourself.
Medina says, follow up, could Aaron dye his hair during the show? Well, let's talk about Studio DNA team members. You can be a member at Team DNA. I totally dye my hair on the show at a certain level. Absolutely.
There's even some dyes that will like persist over darker hair. It might not be easy to see. Your lighter patches on the side, I'm sure you could see it. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. All right. Let's see.
There was another question from JCD who says, have you ever read the novelization of a movie? I just did one for the first Star Trek, and I'm curious how often you do that, if you do.
No. I have read novels that movies are based on. Lord of the Rings comes to mind. I specifically read Lord of the Rings after learning Peter Jackson was making the movies. It had been something I wanted to do anyway. And so I did it. But no, as far as actual novelizations of movies, it's just not something that's ever interested me. That doesn't mean it's, that they're bad. It just means I've just never been interested in them. Danae?
Also, no. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Well, guys, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us on our live show every Monday and Sunday. Well, we need to probably stop saying and someday because it's been a year and we've never.
You know what? Someday,
but we really
want
to
dream.
Sunday's the dream.
Like, we're not stopping saying someday because that's the dream, and you have to hold on to the dream. But yes, for now, it does appear because we're so busy. Mondays is what we can commit to, and some days means like someday. Someday means someday. Someday, guys, it'd be amazing. And then for my Twitch followers, thank you guys so much for your resubs today and your gifted subs. You're so kind to me. I am, now that I'm kind of back from travel, I'm going to be getting into more of a consistent basis with my roleplay again. So I should be able to go live tomorrow. In the evening for me, Central Time, around 6 o'clock is usually, I think, when I try to get started with that. So barring something happening in my life that prevents me, you'll be able to watch that if that's something that you enjoy. You can also catch the stuff that Aaron and I do on various podcast streams. We do all of our older content is on Shoe the Dough. You can go back and listen to those. That's for Aaron and I's content. Aaron does. Thanks to all the new listeners on Shoe the Dough.
What is happening there, by the way?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. We had a huge spike in our numbers last month, and a huge enough spike that it's like glitch maybe.
Something's wrong. But all of that aside, thank you guys so much for that. You can also catch Aaron's review of current movies and other material on the Sift Pop podcast. So you can catch that there. There's lots of fun stuff happening on Twitch. I'm going to send you guys
on my Twitch.
Also live on
Sift
Aaron's
Pop
Twitch.
is also live on my Twitch. Yep.
I'm going to send the Raiders, all 13 of you guys, over to Selecta 720. This is the guy who does live DJing, and right now he's doing a jazz sort of R&B jazz vibe, and I've been listening to it in the background, and it's super freaking yummy. So let's do that. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube and other places, thank you so much for tuning in on those locations as well. You're not forgotten. The bulk of the viewers tend to be over on Twitch. So if you want to join with other people and chat with them and see more of the comments, you can check out my stream, twitch.tv/Danae Says is mine. And all this should be in the description. You guys can find that just down below. You can see a little ticker right there.
There you go. Appreciate you guys. We'll catch you on the next Monday or Sunday. Bye.